Ravens, and Samuel Womack from the Colts. The Seahawks claimed Derrick Kendrick from the Rams. 49ers claimed Jordan Jefferson from the Jaguars. The Eagles claimed Willie Lampkin from the Rams. Jets claimed Cam Jones from the Chiefs. Also Essa Poole from the Chiefs. And Jelani Woods from the Colts. Giants claimed Bayu Braid from the Ravens. And Rico Payton from the Saints. Saints claimed Trey Palmer from the Buccaneers. And Xavier Truss from the Broncos. Patriots claimed Tommy Cutlets from the Giants. And Charles Woods from the Rams. Dolphins claimed Juju Brents from the Colts. Raiders claimed Brennan Jackson from the Rams. Colts claimed Chad Muma from the Jaguars. Lions claimed Tyler Lacey from the Jaguars. And Tyrus Wheat from the Cowboys. Cowboys claimed Traquise Bridges from the Chargers. And Reddy Stewart from the Vikings. Browns claimed Jarrett Bernard Converse from the Jets. And Raheem Sanders from the Chargers. Bears claimed DeMarco Jackson from the Saints. And Jalen Jones from the Cardinals. Finally, the Panthers claimed Dalvin Campbell from the Chargers. And Damari Mathis from the Broncos. And each of these...
What's up? Welcome to Ghet-To Sports. Sports talk with street flavor. Yes, it was cut down day. Did your favorite player get cut? Was your veterans made the 53? That's the question. Has your team made the right decision? A lot of people in all NFL teams had to drop from 90 players in training camp down to 53. Was your favorite player, did he make the team? Okay? They had to go down to 90 to 53 players for that initial team. Did your player that you like make the team? That's the question. The biggest question was the Giants or the Browns keeping 4 quarterbacks? Both teams did not keep 4 quarterbacks. The Raiders made a deal with the Browns and took Pickens from the Browns to the Raiders. They got, I believe, 2 draft picks for him. And the Giants cut DeVito. But he was picked up on waivers by the New England Patriots. Okay? So now the Patriots got cutlets. Okay? Now the Giants have 3 quarterbacks. It's like the Browns had 3 quarterbacks. Is that enough? Is your team ready for the next step? Okay? Then the next step after that, after you get down to the 53, was to sign players to the practice squad. Now you could sign up to 16 players to the practice squad. And you could go technically 17 players if you add an international player. So basically, you can have 17 players to the practice squad, giving you basically 70 players on your team, unofficially. 70 players on your team. There's still some moves that's going on. People are getting picked up off the waiver wire. That's how DeVito got picked up by the Patriots. After he cleared waivers, he was picked up by New England. Okay? So, who would your team pick up after waivers? I'm going to have a showing about that, or before the show or after the show. Take a look at it. But is your team set? Remember, we're going in 0-0 right now in the NFL. Remember, it's a changed league. Every year is something different. Okay? Remember, 49ers was in the Super Bowl one year and then make the playoffs the next year. It's a very tricky thing. Remember, 5 teams from each conference, is it 5 teams from each conference or 4 teams from each conference change over every year in the playoffs? So, is your team ready to go from worst to first? Can they make that change? Can they make that transition? Okay? Is it the year for the Bills, for the Ravens? Can Cincinnati snap out of it? Or everybody will still be coming to see the Chiefs? That's the question. Everyone says the AFC is so heavy. But remember, the NFC won the Super Bowl. Everyone's saying that the Eagles should march directly to the Super Bowl again next year. Who is their threat? Some people were saying the Rams before Stafford was like, oh, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt. So his back. So that's giving people changing thoughts about Sam and the Rams. Or is it Detroit's turn? Detroit had a lot of injuries last year they had to deal with. And they lost both of their coordinators, offense and defense. We've seen that before. Okay? The Eagles lost both of their coordinators, offense and defense, and they made the playoffs, but they didn't make a run. Okay? They collapsed at the end. Will that happen to Detroit? We must see. A lot of things to be answered this upcoming season. I'm telling you, NFL fluctuates. You know, sometimes you're on top and you can drop to the bottom. You can rise to the top. You know, so is your team ready to rise? Or you still have a lot of questions? A lot of people talk about the offensive line. Falcon fans, y'all are bringing in about 5 or 6 players right now for tryouts for the offensive line to see what they make will y'all change your 53 that you just did? Question. You know, a lot of people, a lot of veterans got cut from their teams. They signed in the offseason. They didn't make the team. Or what did a undrafted free agent make your squad? They could have made it on the practice squad, or they could have made it on the 53. What did that look like? The Giants, Collins, is he the next Victor Cruz? Something to see. Something to see. Then you had the holdouts or hold-ins signed some contracts. We talked about Haywood with the Steelers. Right there, we talked to him last episode. He was back in camp. They made a deal. Scary Terry is back with the Commanders. They made a deal. And I was saying, remember the last episode, I said they could sign him between 28 and 30 something million. And basically they signed him for about 32 million for 3 years. 30 million was a signing bonus for this year. So, will that take him over the top? But remember, they was a surprise last year. Can they maintain that? Or will somebody else surprise everyone like Washington did last year? Then Hendricks for Cincinnati signed a 30-year one-time contract. So he got a bump up of $14 million raise for this year. And next year he's a free agent. They can probably franchise tag him, but will they do that? Because they were saying he was an older pass rusher. He's in his 30s, 31. So was they ready to sign him again? Or they let him walk next year? That's the question. And you still got that one that's still out there for that team in Texas we're not going to talk about. Let them have their drama. Let them have their annex, whatever they do. Let them do that. Let them have that. We're not going to give them no love on Ghetto Sports with Manny. Ha! So, is your team ready to rise to the top? We shall see. We shall see. Now, I told y'all last episode that the WNBA playoffs is right around the corner. And guess who's hot right now? Hot on fire. The Aces. The Las Vegas Aces are on fire right now. I believe they ran around 11 or 12 in a row. And they ready for the playoffs. The Lynx, they got their all-star back. Their MVP candidate. Are they ready? Okay? the Fever are winning without their all-star. And the Liberty, they are still defending champs. Who do you like in the WNBA playoffs? Then we right around the corner. We're about to step into September. And when we step into September, the baseball season gets tight. And is your team ready? The Yankees, they was on a losing streak, now on a winning streak right now. They was first place in the wild card. Now they in second place in the wild card. Okay? Can the Red Sox or the Yankees catch the Blue Jays? Will the Dodgers and the Padres fight it out to the bitter end? Is the Mets, can they catch the Phillies? They put one on them this week, but can they catch them? That's the question. The Brewers are the team to beat right now, the best record in baseball. Who do you like? You know, September will solve all of that in baseball, but will your team survive? That's the question. That's the question. And then the NBA is right around the corner. Training camps is going to happen. We know we're going to be ready, and the NBA is going to start. But right now, are you ready for some football? That's what we want to see. We have one more week of this non-football in your life in the NFL. But you got week 1 of the college football. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for those good matchups? Death Valley is playing Death Valley. Clemson against the LSU Tigers. Who got the real Death Valley? The team the game that everyone wants to see is the Texans and Ohio State. Ohio State is defending national champion, but they lost a lot of players to the NFL. Can Manny do it? Is he the real deal or just living off the name? We will see. Who do you like? This is getting very interesting right now. And you got the U.S. Open in tennis in New York. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Also, your kid got a website now. Check out the website. Okay? Ghetto Sports at Harlem.com, where you can see Ghetto Sports with Manny and the Harlem Chronicles, those 4 good books that young man Ray Frazier has written. Okay? And also, they got clothing on those sites also, and they're also on Etsy. So come out and take a look at Ghetto Sports at Harlem.com, the website, and see what's going on with Manny and Ghetto Sports in the Chronicles of Harlem. Thank you.